And right now I'd like to introduce Mike Barney, who will speak on behalf of the school committee.
On behalf of the Lunenburg School Committee, Superintendent Combs, Athletic Director Pete McAuliffe, and all our students, faculty, and staff, I'd like to express our appreciation first to Tom and Sheila and the Szocik family, Jeremy, Barry, Peggy, and all the members of our community who have made this fitting memorial to Kevin possible. Kevin followed his dreams and was a role model for his peers, a student athlete who became a success story in his athletic, personal, and professional life. When our young athletes enter these fields for their athletic contests, we hope they can aspire to that same success. And always remember that life is precious. And always remember to get the most out of every minute of every day. Out of the tragedy of September 11th, Kevin's legacy lives on through a scholarship supporting Lunenburg High School students each year who emulate Kevin's values and attributes. May this gate be a permanent inspiration to all who pass through it.
Thank you, Mr. Barney. And now I'd like to bring up our next speaker, Jeremy Coleman. Without his dedication and commitment to see this project through, we would not be where we are today. Jeremy?
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you all so much for coming. Over 5 years ago, Kevin's Aunt Peggy asked me to get involved with the fundraising and planning of this memorial gate. Despite a job, family, and life obligations, there's nothing that was going to prevent me from being a part of this project. I am honored, privileged, and humbled to be associated with such an important memorial for a true friend. Over the last 9 years, and particularly the last 5, I've often reflected on my lifelong friendship with Kevin and why I felt this gate was so important. As an athlete, Kevin was the epitome of a team player and a leader amongst his peers. I recently found an old newspaper article that captured his spirit as a player during his time as a Blue Knight. It was written after Kevin's final high school football game, a loss to North Middlesex on Thanksgiving Day on this field. Although the Blue Knights lost to the Super Bowl-bound Patriots, Kevin had an amazing game, throwing for 3 touchdowns and breaking his own LHS record for passing yards in a game. Afterwards, a reporter asked him if he found any sort of satisfaction in that. Kevin's response, "I would be satisfied only if we had won the game." This quote was a perfect example of what made Kevin so special. And to understand the type of friend that Kevin was, you don't need to look any further than the long list of people who offered their support of this project and the number of people in attendance today. Over the last month or so, as our dreams became a reality and this gate was constructed, I thought about Kevin often and how he was never satisfied unless he won the game. As I look at this beautiful gate leading to the field where Kevin once competed, I know that we won the game for Kevin. Thank you.
Now I'd like to bring up Paul Porter, Commandant of the Massachusetts Marine Corps League.
None of us here today will ever forget September 11, 2001, when 19 al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 2 planes and flew them into the Twin Towers in New York, ending the lives of 2,977 innocent people. The attack was one step in an attempt by al-Qaeda to destroy the United States as we know it and take away the freedom that we all enjoy. I'm here to tell you today that as long as there's the United States Marine Corps, that ain't going to happen. We're here today to honor one of our own, Kevin Szocik, who was working in one of the towers that day when the unprovoked attack occurred. He's not with us anymore, but his memory will live on forever. I'm proud to have known him and his family, and the dedication of Kevin's Gate is a fitting tribute to his memory. Thank you for letting me be part of his day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Now I'd like to bring up the Szocik Millett family. They'd like to say something.
This is a little bit overwhelming, to say the least, especially on this day. I feel I got quite a few thanks to bring out. First, I'd like to thank my sister Peggy and the original Kevin Gate Committee for coming up with this idea. You know, in the beginning, Sheila and I made a conscious decision to stay out of it as much as we possibly could, because we went through the walk and the other fundraisers and participated, but we really didn't want to be, you know, this something the parents had done to immortalize their son. I think this gate means so much more coming from Kevin's friends, teammates, and classmates. I know Kevin would be, as I am, truly humbled by this. I want to thank Kevin's in-laws, the McNeils, for the very generous support of this gate from the very beginning. I want to thank all the volunteers who either actually did work here or supported the gate. I know the local contractors wanted to stay anonymous, but since it was on the front page of the Telegram this morning, I guess we can I'd like to thank Jeff and Steve Powell from Powell Sand and Gravel. They're certainly following on in their father's footsteps, Ray, for giving back to the community. I want to thank Mark Birch from Lakeview for all the work and time he donated here. You know, these guys, I'm sure, had to not only time materials and stuff like that, but they had to juggle the schedule to get this done. It's still amazing that, you know, 4 weeks ago this was all trees and nothing here. And to get this accomplished and, you know, how beautiful it is really quite an accomplishment. I also want to thank Dick Demers and the Monty-Tech Masonry Department for, you know, the work on the columns. I'm sure Dick and I will have a captain's and coat before the day's over. And I can thank my son-in-law Mike from Mike Malek Construction for hustling over here to get the ticket booth built in time. I got to thank all the people who participated in all the fundraisers over the last few years. The walk, the Whalen Lakefront event, certainly the golf tournament, which made this possible along with the annual scholarship. I want to thank my Boston College football teammates and alumni who were very generous in the support from the beginning, especially for the scholarships. I want to thank the Fordham University teammates, football players, who were also a lot of support. In fact, Fordham just completed a new multi-million-dollar sports complex down in New York, and Kevin's teammates purchased a locker, so number 11 is always going to be with a plaque with Kevin Szocik. So he'd be in good company with Vince Lombardi and all the other famous people from Fordham. I do also want to thank especially the players from the Red Sox, the Bruins, and the Patriots for all they contributed to, especially during the golf tournament with shirts and signed memorabilia and whatnot. That scholarship, I'm proud to say, through all your people's support, was able to give $5,000 a year to a deserving senior boy and girl from Lunenburg High to help continue with their education. So even as we speak, and that's going to go on in perpetuity, it's just overwhelming, and I think it's a great tribute. That's probably, this and the scholarship is the greatest tribute at all to Kevin. I want to thank the Bengals for all their support in helping with this gate, and certainly the Lunenburg Blue Knights, the football team, and all they've done over the years. Especially want to thank two guys who are like sons to me, and certainly like brothers to Kevin. And this wouldn't get done. These guys were absolutely obsessed with this. And to get this done in 4 weeks is truly amazing. That's Jeremy Coleman and Barry Smith. I love you guys.
thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Szocik. I'll call you that forever. For having faith in us to work on this project. It's a true honor. And now I'll ask Tom and Sheila to cut the ribbon and officially open the Kevin T. Szocik Memorial Gate for all to enjoy. Immediately after the ribbon cutting ceremony, Lisa and Brendan, Kevin's brother and sister, will be heading down to the field for the coin toss. Thank you all for coming out today. All right.
Come on, Lisa. Come on.